Hi friends, welcome back to the brand new series on Angular 0 to Hero, a perfect Angular guide for beginners. In my last video, I have explained about directives and its types, and also I explained the different types of structural directives using an example program. In this video, I am going to explain about attribute directives. Like structural directives, attribute directives do not modify the DOM. Instead, they modify the properties of the DOM. Most commonly used attribute directives are ngClass and ngStyle. Let me explain these two using an example program. Here also I am using the same type setup using Bootstrap, App Component CSS and HTML. In App Component HTML, I am adding a paragraph tag and then creating a div, and inside that I am having 3 buttons. Then I am adding click event to each button and calling a function called highlight. I am also passing the respective value. And in App Component TS, I am creating that function. Also, I am creating a variable named highlight color and assigning a default value of white. When the button is clicked, I am assigning the color value from the HTML to this variable. Now back in HTML, in the paragraph tag, I am adding ngClass using property binding syntax. And this ngClass accepts a JavaScript object to which we can pass a class name, which will be applied to the DOM when the right side expression is evaluated to true. And this class name should be used inside quotes if the class name is having a hyphen. We can also add quotes even if hyphen is not there. And finally, in the App Component CSS file, I am adding these classes. With these, if we preview and click the buttons, we can see the text is getting highlighted dynamically. This is how we can use ngClass to dynamically add a class to the DOM. Next, let's move to ngStyle. Let me create a paragraph tag and a button to toggle the style. In the button, I am calling a function through event binding. And in the App Component TS, I am creating that function. I am also creating a boolean value isStyleApplied and assigning it to false initially. Inside the function, if it is false, I am changing it to true, and if it is true, I am changing it to false using the negation operator. Coming back to HTML, in the paragraph tag, I am using ngStyle using property binding syntax, and this accepts a JavaScript object in which I am using the color property of CSS. We can assign any valid color value here directly. But as I want to toggle, I am going to use an expression which will transform to a valid color value. So here I use it like, if isStyleApplied equal to true, then I want to use a white color, otherwise I want to use black. Similarly, let me also add a background color. When using CSS property which is having hyphen, we need to use it inside quotes, or otherwise we need to use the equivalent JavaScript syntax like this. And here also we can check whether isStyleApplied equal to true, then we can use green, and otherwise we shall have white. Actually, we can also ignore equal to true here. With this in place, if I preview and click the button, we can see the style is getting toggled. This is how we can use ngStyle to apply some styles dynamically. Before we move on to the next topic, I want to show you something. If I inspect this, we can see the class is dynamically getting applied when I click the buttons. But the DOM is not getting removed or added. Same thing applicable to ngStyle also. We can see the style is getting changed dynamically. But if I open the other application which I have created to explain structural directives, we can see the DOM itself getting deleted and the new DOM is getting inserted dynamically. If I inspect the ngSwitch section, we can see it clearly. So please keep in mind, structural directives always modify the DOM, but the attribute directives modify only the properties of the DOM. With these, we have completed directives concept. Let's have a task now. Let me suggest you an exercise using directives. Try creating this application. Here I am listing the numbers from 1 to 50 in the right side, and I am having few buttons in the left side. At first, the clear button should be disabled. When any other button is clicked, clear button should be enabled and can be clicked to clear the highlights. Also, when any other button is clicked, that button should be shown as active using a different color. Also, based on the button clicked, the numbers on the right hand side should be highlighted and a message should be shown when any of the green buttons is clicked. Try this task. If you are facing any difficulties or having any doubts, post it in the comment section. If you are not able to achieve this for some reason, you can get the solution code from the GitHub. I have provided the URL in the description. Next, I am going to explain how we can handle the communication between different components. Before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe, press bell button and stay tuned. Thank you.